Hi all, I'm Dee and welcome to Decode's YouTube channel. So in this video, we'll be seeing about the pseudocodes that have already been asked in Accenture online assessment tests, online rounds. So this is a PYQ series actually. So these are all the actual questions that have already been asked, right? So let's get into this video. But before that, I'd like to show you my YouTube channel, which is Decodes. First and foremost, thank you so much for crossing 100 subscriptions. Thank you for subscribing to me. And I'm so happy that this channel serves the purpose. So the purpose of this channel is actually be useful to everyone who are all preparing for their interviews. So I post technical interview experience, HR interview experience, interview questions, puzzles, and like various scenario-based questions, coding questions in various companies. And I also upload hiring update, internship update, job updates. I also upload Java shorts, and I've even got like a Java course that's like a Java course going on. So it's somewhere in this here. Please do explore it, and you can see. Feel like it's a Java course that's going on. So this is actually the Java shorts that I've been talking about. So in MCQ rounds, no, or some exception questions are asked, which we might make mistaken. So please do watch these videos because it will be useful for you. And do give me a subscription because you don't want to miss any updates. And like my content, share it with your friends and ask them to subscribe too. And in case of any queries, please to comment. Okay, so now let's get into this video. So the first question, let's see. So the first question is this. So whenever I've got a question, I'd like to write each and every value. So first, let's take. So they've given the values as A is 10 and B is 6, and we have to find the output for this pseudocode based on these values. So we have got like A is actually 10 and B is actually 6, right? So they've written a function which takes these two values. Now let's move. This is a temperature, like a temporary variable. I'm sorry. So we've got a temp variable. Okay, so here starts the while loop. So while B, so B is actually 6. So while 6 actually this is true. So 6 is true, right? So now, so while 6, so this evaluates to true. Therefore, we go into this loop. So now temp is equal to A mod B. So what is A? 10 mod B. So mod is actually this 10 mod B. So what will you get when you do 10 mod B is that I will put it here because 6 and 10, 6, 1 to 6 and 4. So remainder is actually 4. So that is what model operator is. So you get the temporary variable to be 4, right? So now they're saying A equal to B. So A equal to B. So B is actually 6 and B equal to temp. So temp is actually 4. Right now the while loop has ended. No, not really. The while loop has ended. So now the next iteration goes on. So next you have go. So this is like the first thing, and you've got the second thing. So while again while B. So B is actually 4. So while 4 it evaluates to true. So now you just move into the loop. So now temporary variable is equal to A mod B. What is A? 6 mod 4. So what will you get the remainder as? So 6 mod 4 is 4 ones are 4 and the remainder is actually 2. So the temp is actually 2, right? So followed by that A equal to B. So what is B? 4. And B equal to temp. So temp is actually 2. Okay, so now this is over. The while loop evaluates again. So while B, so B is actually 2, right? So while B is actually 2, it's true. This evaluates to true. So therefore, temp is equal to A mod B. What is A? So 4 mod 2 is actually what? So 4 mod 2. So 2 ones are 2, 0. So the remainder is 0. So temp is actually 0 now. So A equal to B. So B is actually 2 and B equal to 0. Now again the while loop evaluates. So while now we have the B to be 0. So while 0, so 0 is false. So what happens is this while loop gets ended and we have to return the value of A. What exactly is the value of A? So value of A is actually 2. So the answer for this is 2. I hope this was understandable. So this is how if you can just solve it rapidly, like fastly, and you'll get the answer. Now let's move on to the next question. So okay, the next question is the same. We'll move on to the third question. Okay. Okay, if you see this is a bit of a tricky question actually. Now let's get into this. So we have Inside the main function, we have x is equal to 1, 2, 3. So first I'll take and write that x is equal to 1, 2, 3. Now int I equal to printf C++. So we are trying to print this particular thing right here. So this actually in the output, what prints is C++ gets printed. So C++ gets printed because you're printing this over here. What happens to the value of I? So when you compile this in the compiler, no, so you will get the value of I to be 3 actually, right? So I is actually 3. So now you have to go into the for loop. The for loop, we've already got the x to be 1, 2, 3. Now x is actually 0, right? Right, so it will go on from 0 till I value is 3. So 0 till 3, it will print the value of x. Right, so what will be the output is for first iteration, it will print 0, and then it will print 1, and then it will print 2, and then it will print 3. So the answer for this is C++ 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when you when you try to print the value of I, the compiler prints 3 actually. So I is actually 3. Okay, this is how it is. Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, so here they're asking what is another annotation for exponentiation. So this is actually multiplication. This is exponentiation, right? This double star is exponentiation. Triple star, no, you can use it for pointers, triple star, but that is not exponentiation. This is actually star and an XOR operator. This is not exponentiation, right? So let's move on to the next question. Okay, so I will zoom it out. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have this fun int x and y. Now let's move on to they have declared a okay, a function fun. Now let's move into the main function. So inside the main function, they have done I and n, right? So I equal to 5 and n equal to 7. So even though there might already be here, just write and see so that you don't commit any mistake. They're calling this function fun. So they're passing fun 5 comma 7, right? So they're passing 5 comma 7. So the definition of this function is written over here. So actually it takes us x and y. So x equal to 5 and y equal to 7. When they call this function is returned here, it takes x and y. First, it's saying is x less than or equal to 0. So x is actually 5. 5 less than or equal to 0, false. So it goes to else part. So else part returns fun of x minus 1 and y minus 1. So now x is equal to, what is x minus 1? 5 minus 1, 4, and y is equal to 6. Okay. Now this is actually called again. Now x is evaluated. So is 4 less than or equal to 0? No, it is actually false. So now else part comes. So in else part, you call the fun, but it will be like subtracting minus 1. So 3 and y is equal to 5. Right. So again, this function is called recursion. So it checks x. So x is 3 less than or equal to 0. False. So these are all false. So for the purpose, I have to mention it. So now it goes to else part, which is fun of. So x minus 1, y minus 1. So x and y are already 3 and 5. So it is 2 and 4. Now let's see. Is 2 less than or equal to 0? False. So it goes to else part. So else is fun of 1 comma 3. This is x and this is y. And then this function is called again. Now x is checked actually. So now is x is 1 less than or equal to 0 is false. So it goes to else. You call this function, but you put minus 1, 0 comma 2. Now you're calling this function again 0 comma 2. Now is x less than or equal to 0? 0 is equal to 0. True. Now you have to return the value of y. So this function will return 2. This function will return 2. Since it was recursion, right? So this function will return 2. This will return 2. This will return 2. And finally, the answer will be returned as 2. Okay. I hope this was understandable. This is how recursion works. So each of these functions are called within again and again. They have to return something. So that's why each of these functions return, return, return. And finally, when it was called first, this will return true, 2, and finally we will print the value actually, which is the value of f. It is returned here, and that is 2. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so what will be the output of the following pseudocode? So we've got x, y, and z, right? So x is equal to 24, y equal to 8. Now let's see. So this is actually z is equal to x by, no, actually that's right. I don't want to confuse you people. Okay, now x is equal to x by y. So x is equal to 24 by 8. So 8 1 times 3 times. So x is equal to 3, right? Now x is equal to 3 and y equal to 8. Okay. Now is it equal to y left shift x, and the value of y is 8, left shift 3. Okay. So what is left shift? What happens in left shift is that this particular number is shifted to the left 3 times. Okay, so here's a shortcut. So for left shift, what you need to do is you just take this number, and for left shift, you have to do multiplication into 2 power number of times it is shifted. So 8 into 2 power number of times shifted is 3. So 8 into 8, which is equal to 64. Okay, so the answer for this is 64. This is the number which is being shifted, and then this is actually number of times in which it is shifted. Now let's move on. Okay, now let's move on to this particular question. Okay, so they have given some code like this, and they want you to say which of the following condition will allow the execution of statement A, right? Now let's see. Statement A. If condition 1, if it is true, then the execution goes inside. Condition 2 is will be checked. If this condition 2 is also true, statement A will be executed, right? Okay, statement A will be executed. Else, it will goes on to condition 3. But they're asking only statement A. So for statement A to be executed, both condition 1 and condition 2 should be true. Only when both are true, statement A will be executed. That means condition 1 and condition 2. So statement A, only 2 conditions are required for you, condition 1 and condition 2. So you can just stop it right here in order to save time. So the answer for this is actually condition 1 and condition 2. This is the answer. So this is actually wrong. Condition 1 and condition 2, statement A will be executed. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, a symbol used for grouping is actually the answer for this, actually this. So this is a symbol that's used for grouping. Now let's move on to the next question, ninth question. Okay, now we've got like 3 variables here. A equal to 6, B equal to 3, and C equal to 2, right? Now, so this is AND operator. Now let's check. If B greater than A, so B is 3 greater than 6? False. So when you check both of these, this evaluates to false, right? You don't have to now check if it will be true or false. No matter what's present here, this whole will be evaluating to false because this is false. If it is true here, false into true is false. If it is false here, false into false is false. No matter what this evaluates to, this is always false. So if condition will not be satisfied, now we move on to the else part. Now they're saying A equal to B plus 1. So A equal to B is 3 plus 1, which is equal to 4. Now we have got A equal to 4, B equal to 3, C equal to 2. When you add, they want us to print A plus B plus C. 4 plus 3 plus 2 equal to 9. The answer for this is 9. Okay. Now let's go to the 10th question. Okay. So now inside the main function, there are 2 variables, x equal to 4 and y equal to 0, right? So, and z. So initially they've not like assigned z with anything. So initially it will be 0, but now they're assigning z with something, right? So z is equal to y plus plus. What is the value of y? 0. 0 plus plus. So they are assigning z to y, like, no, sorry, they are assigning y to z and then they are incrementing. So first of all, it gets assigned. So now y plus plus will be 0. Okay, comma, in the memory, no, they have done this plus plus operation here. So in the memory, 0 will be incremented to 1. Now when you try to print y, this will be 1. Okay, so z is equal to 0 comma 1. Now they're trying to print the z value. So z value will be the last, whatever you assigned last, that will be the value of z. So z is equal to 1. Okay, so the answer to this is 1. So this is increment operator. Surely you'll have questions from this. It is pretty confusing, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, so when you have z is equal to y plus plus and z is equal to plus plus y, what happens here? So y is equal to 0 initially. So now first of all, you're assigning the y value to z and then you are incrementing. So first of all, you're assigning. So z will be 0 and then you are incrementing it to 1. So now y will be 1. And then you're doing z is equal to plus plus y. So plus plus, first you are incrementing and assigning. So first you increment it. So incremented value is actually 2 and then you are assigning. So okay, now when you try to print, this will print 2. This is the basic concept in here. But when you just try to print y plus plus and plus plus y, when y is equal to 0, both of these will print what? So y plus plus, you're not assigning anything, right? So this will print 1. Plus plus y, this will print 2. Okay, so this is all around it. If you want me to put a detailed video on this one, I'll surely do. Any kinds of doubts, ask me. So I hope this was understandable. Now let's move on to the next question. We have this particular question in here. So we have a equal to 0, b equal to 1, and c equal to 2. Okay. So let's see. I will expand this, zoom this in. We can concentrate only on this. Okay, so now, so there is an outer parenthesis, and then inside they've written something along these lines. Okay, so of course we need to do the parenthesis things first. This is actually ternary operation. First we will evaluate the condition. A plus 1. What is a plus 1? So a is 0. 0 plus 1 equal to 1. So that 1 is equal to this one. This is true. So this ternary operation, if this is true, then this will get executed. If this is false, then this one get executed. But this is true, right? So and B will get executed. So what will happen here is we have value at address of B. Okay, which is equal to A or B is to C. Right. So first of all, this will get evaluated. And what is this is actually value at address of. What is value at address of B? That is actually 1. So 1 equal to, so 1 equal to, let's say if this is true, then B will execute it. If this is false, then C will be executed. A is actually 0. So 0 means false, right? So C will be executed. C is actually C will be executed. 1 is equal to C, just C. So the whenever in C, whenever you assign a value to a variable, it should this C should be present in the left hand and the value should be present in the right hand. If not, you will get an error actually. So if you run this up in the compiler, no, you will get left hand operator, like kind of something like that is missing. So it will print an error. So this actually prints an error. So you'll get an error for this, not 012 or 022 or 020. You will get an error actually for this. Okay, I hope that was understandable, because you are trying to assign 1 to C, and that will not work. Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, so we have this particular thing. We have characters C, A, B, and each of these characters are assigned to the C, and they are trying to sum these one up. So what will happen here is, when you try to sum these things, its ASCII value gets summed up and you will get the sum. So ASCII value of F is actually 102. Sorry, like C is actually, no, F is actually 102. S is actually, and X. So X is actually 120. And the ASCII value of S is, I guess, it's in the range of like something. Okay, let me see. I just don't keep them in my memory because, okay, it's actually 115. When you add all of these things, you will get 337. So that is the answer. This is 337. Okay. Okay, now let's move on. Because we have this character, this will, if you try to sum these one, the ASCII value will get summed up. You won't get like FSX. No. You'll get the ASCII value. Let's move on. This is a pretty interesting one. You've got like four of these variables and you have to print, okay, and you have to try to evaluate it and find the difference between these. So let's do that. You have to know operator precedence for this one, right? Okay, so let's see. So actually you have multiplication, division and subtraction. So compared to subtraction, multiplication and division has higher priority. So these will get executed first, but multiplication and division has same priority. According to associativity law, when same priority occurs, when multiplication and division has same priority, when they occur together, you have to go from left to right. That is actually the rule. So first let's see, A multiplied with B. So 440 into 35, which is equal to actually 1440. Okay, fine. And then you divide. So you've got A star B as 1440 divided by C is actually 20 minus D is actually 10. So among between division and subtraction, this has the higher priority. So when you do this, you will get like 72 minus 10, which is equal to 62. Okay, so this will have 62. Let's try to do this one. So we have A star B divided by C minus D. So parenthesis has the highest priority. So you first subtract C and D, you will get, so A is actually 40 multiplied with 35 divided by C minus D is 10. So between, so we have multiplication and division. So you need to go from left to right. So when you go from left to right, you will get like 1440 divided by 10, which is actually 144. So when you, so you got this as 144. So when you subtract these two, 144 minus 62 is actually 82. And the closest answer is differ by 80. So this is the answer for this. Okay, so you need to know the operator precedence and associativity. So when operators of equal precedence occur together, then you need to know in which direction you'll have to move. Okay, let's get on to the next question. Okay, so this is already solved, I guess. Okay, I'll just remove this. Okay, now let's move. Okay, so here it is actually they have defined all of these variables. Actually, n, which is equal to 5, and then they've defined k, f1, f2, and f. We have all of these things, okay, all of these variables. So first let's check if n less than 2. Is 5 less than 2? False. So you go to the else part. Now they are saying f1 is equal to f2 is equal to 1. So now f1 equal to f2 equal to 1. So now they are moving into the for loop. So inside the for loop, k is equal to 2 up to k less than n. So k is equal to 2 up to k less than n. What is the value of n initially? 5. So up to, so this will run for 2, 3, 4. 3 times this will run up and you will get the answer of f1 and f2 and you have to return f. Now let's do that, right? So initially f1 and f2 is equal to 1. So when k equal to 2, f is equal to f1 plus f2. f1 plus f2 is 1 plus 1 equal to 2. And then f1 equal to f2. f2 is actually 1. So f1 is equal to 1. And f2 equal to f. So 1 plus 1, 2. So you get 2. Okay, now when k equal to 3, f is equal to f1 plus f2. 2 plus 1 is 3. And f1 equal to f2. f2 is 2. And f2 equal to f. f is actually 3, right? And then when k equal to 4, f is equal to f1 plus f2, which is 5. f1 equal to f2, which is 3. and f2 equal to f, which is 5 again. So when k is equal to 5, this will evaluate to false, and you have the value of f, which is 5. So we have to print the value of 5. So you will get this as your answer. Okay. So this is actually Fibonacci series, right? Okay, now let's move on into this next question. Okay, now let's see this question. I think we've already seen it, right? So this is actually, and so let's try to change this one up. What if we have OR operator here? Okay, let's say if b greater than a, 5 greater than 2, it's actually true. A greater than c, it's actually false. Okay, so initially is b greater than a, this is true. A greater than c, no, it is false. And c greater than b, this is actually also false. So you will have like true, false, and false. If it is OR operator, you'll get like true. So b equal to a plus 1. So b equal to a is actually 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. And you have to print a plus b plus c. So a is actually 5 plus 3 plus 2. So 10. So if they give OR operator, the answer will be 10. I hope this was understandable. Let's move into the next question. We've only got like 3 questions left. Pretty easy. Let's move. Okay, so we've got the number as 8. Okay, now they are doing left shift and right shift. Let's see how to do it. I've already told you for left shift the formula is number into 2 power n. For right shift it's actually number divided by 2 power n. Let's see. Number is 8. 8 into 2 power, what is n? N is actually 1, which is 16. And this is right shift. So 8 divided by 2, which is equal to 4. So the closest answer is 15, 4. So we tick this one up. Okay, so for saving time, we are doing this. But if you want to do it manually also, you can do that. But I would suggest this way. Now let's get into this question. Okay, so we've got ij. So and k is equal to 8. Right, so k is actually equal to 8. And for each I from 1 to 1, so I will execute one time. For each j from value of I to 1, so I is initially 1, so 1 to 1. So this will also execute one time. So both of this will execute one time and it will print k plus 1. So k plus 1, 8 plus 1 is 9. So this will print 9 as the answer. So for each I from 1 to 1, they're including this, okay. For each j from the value of I to 1, they're also including this I to 1, 1 to 1. So 1 less than or equal to 1. So this will take 1. So 1 less than or equal to 1, this will also take 1. So you will have the answer of k plus 1, which is 9. So let's go to the last question. This is pretty easy, but you have to know the operator precedence. So they've given 3 numbers and we have to do the AND operation on it. Now let's see. Okay, now we have OR and AND. So when you compare these two actually, AND it has higher priority than OR. So first this will get executed. I'm sorry for actually. Okay. So is B greater than 50? It's actually false. So no matter what's here, this will always evaluate to false, right? So now let's take this. Is A greater than 45? 60 is greater than 45, which is true. true or false is actually true. So this will print true. True means 1. This will print 1. Now let's see this. They have a parenthesis, so that you need to give the first priority to that. So let's see these are A greater than 45 or B greater than 50. We've already seen true. This is true. And B greater than 50. This is false. You've already seen it. True or false is actually true. And C greater than 10. Is C greater than 10 though? No, this is false. So true and false is false. This will evaluate to 0. So 1 and 0 is the answer for this. So we've seen all of these questions from, I've given you like 18 questions, right? So please practice this once again because it will be useful for you. So with great practice comes great problem solving skills, right? So I'll see you in another video. Till then, thank you for watching this one. And in case of any doubts, mention it in the comment box. If I've done any mistakes in any of these questions, I might have done it, I don't know. Please mention it in the comment box and I'll try to rectify it. Okay, now I'll see you in another video. Till then, bye bye.